Okay, we're living in one of the most wildest timelines ever, as the President of the United States is literally talking about alien disclosures, as Tulsi Gabbard allegedly went to Area 51, as now there's 17 earthquakes around Area 51, as Joe Rogan just had a fascinating conversation about how the U.S. government is luring in the aliens using nuclear weapons. I'm not kidding you. That's literally what's being discussed here. As of course, I've been talking about this for many years now. There's a strange, weird type of circumstances regarding nukes and aliens. I give you my theories here, as a lot of people are saying there's a haunting connection here. We're going to go over with some of the history here, as David Icke now is finally saying, hey, I told you so. What's really the truth here? We're going to do our best to try to understand it here in this independent media broadcast. If you appreciate that, subscribe, click the notification button. We got a lot to get into. As just yesterday, we were talking about how Donald Trump confirms aliens and UFO files coming. They're going to release what they can here. As of course, we keep getting weird, strange videos. We keep getting promised by Congress that there's going to be 17 videos that are going to shock us, as truly, it definitely does feel like we're living in a day and age of slow disclosure that's just trying to tease and hint and release a little bit of information here, a little bit of information here. Barack Obama, J.D. Vance, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, all of these people are all coming out. Matt Gaetz, Cuban alien hybrid program, all of them are coming out, along with a lot of government officials being like, oh, yeah, there's aliens. As right now, there's reports, according to the Daily Mail, that more than a dozen earthquakes have struck near Nevada's highly classified base in the last 24 hours. It's also alleged, it hasn't been confirmed, that Tulsi Gabbard, the DNI chief, flew over there. As a lot of people are saying, what demonic portals are they opening up now? As some people are saying, this is very suspicious behavior. This could be saber rattling against Russia. This could be saber rattling against China. But at least 17 earthquakes up to 4.4 magnitude detected miles away from Area 51. Could it be a natural phenomenon? Sure, I get it. Yeah. But in 2026, we don't have coincidences. We just don't. I wish we did. It'd be nice if we did. But as I've been saying for a long time now, 2026 will be the year of disclosure. This is when we're going to be really kind of mystified. And I gave my assessments on this for a very long time, as a lot of people are detailing mysterious spottings of UFOs at U.S. military testing sites here. Now, is this advanced U.S. military tech? Is this a balloon? Sometimes the truth is a lot simpler than sometimes we make it. But we have to understand here, I don't think it's a coincidence lining up with all of these government officials literally talking about aliens. As Joe Rogan just had Dan Farah on, who talked about how allegedly the U.S. government lured UFOs in with nuclear weapons. Now, this checks out with many prominent members of the military worldwide, from the Israeli military, the Canadian military. I interviewed the Canadian Minister of Defense, who pretty much told me, yeah, they exist. And there's all of these like weird incidences and weird testimony of aliens shutting off nuclear weapons. What's this phenomenon? Well, the two kind of explained it here on this clip.
I'll tell you something that I don't think people know about, but the UAP task force, which Jay Stratton ran, they put in place, based on that data of the connection with nukes, they put together a plan to lure in UAP with nuclear elements, so nuclear aircraft carrier with some nuclear weapons on it, and they had all these data collection systems in place, and it worked.
Whoa! So they put out bait.
Without doing a test.
Just the fact that they had nuclear weapons
existed and was being put into place, it attracted, and they caught a lot of data on it.
Whoa!
And we shouldn't think that was the only time they did that. I'll tell you.
Yeah, as there's multiple members of the military being like, oh yeah, the aliens came and just turned off all of our nukes. Why? As of course, nukes are world-ending type of tech if implemented and used, especially with a retaliatory attack and mutually assured destruction. If there are other forms of life forms or energetic spiritual realms or frequency realms that we're not privy to that coexist in our current kind of space and time, outside of our senses, I think they would be, pretty peeved. Like, hey, we live here too. So you just can't see us. Stop blowing us up. Stop trying to get us close to blowing each other up. And again, this is not a phenomenon that's new, right? As of course, when we look at the UAP activity, especially during the election, the last presidential election, there was literally the governor of Louisiana coming out and be like, yeah, they're flying over our nuclear reactors. Denmark, very similar situation. Japan, very similar situation. As there's some kind of weird, kind of strange connection to all of this. Congressman Tim Burchett literally told us that he has seen miraculous things in secured door briefings that hopefully make it to the general public. Now, there could be also a PSYOP, right? There could be elite government members with advanced tech just messing with people, right? I always came out and I said, listen, we're going to know what's going on when we see the result of what happens. Then we could make a conclusion, like who benefited off of this? What's really going on here? As of course, a lot of people in the alien community were very strong believers of aliens. And since the government came out, it was like, yeah, true that. After like fighting them, they're like, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. We're going to play more of this clip because I thought the conversation with Dan Farah was fascinating. Granted, it happened 5 months ago. But I particularly wanted to talk about this specifically with literally the president of the United States. Be like, yeah, we're all going to release it. Before getting into that and a lot more, just really quickly, we wanted to tell you about wearechange.shop. It's a great store. And on top, we have, I think, the most powerful supplements out there. It's our vitamin D and our Sun Force bundle with magnesium glycinate. I'm really a big fan of both of these. We don't put it in one pill, because I like to take my vitamin D with K2 and olive oil, which we have here, with my breakfast. And I like to take my magnesium with the last meal of the day, my supper, right? Is that how you say it? Anyway, regardless of that, I try to push away the last meal of the day as far as I can, so I could have an empty stomach when I go to sleep, as there's some really incredible studies. This one just came out, Miami Herald. A vitamin D study shows 79% boost in success with people dealing with a very serious C word, as people are talking about how it has helped people deal with very serious illnesses and ailments. I'm not telling you it's going to heal you, but I am telling you that vitamin D regulates about 5% of your genome. It is absolutely vital for viral defense. During the COOF years, people who had high vitamin D levels did a lot better. It helps out your neurotransmitters. It helps out longevity. It helps you reverse epigenetics, age by 2+ years. It's also great for your teeth, great for your mental health. I mean, I just love this thing, right? And when you pair it with magnesium glycinate, you're able to get that good sleep. You're able to make sure that your body is operating and running in a full optimal way. And that's why we created the Sun Force bundle, as a lot of people are deficient in magnesium and a lot of people are deficient in vitamin D. Talk to a medical professional before putting anything into your own body. Do your own homework, do your own research, guys. But to me, this has been a major game changer, and I think it could be one for you. Now, the conversation continued here in a very fascinating way.
Human intelligent life, that we're in a secret high-stakes race with adversarial nations. If that's what they can lawfully disclose, dude, what's on the other side of that line? Right. What's the stuff they can't disclose?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. When you're talking to...
They already disclosed a lot, right? Right? Barack Obama came out. He was like, aliens exist. Trump's like, he's released classified information. We're like, wait, hold on. Barack Obama tried to walk it back. We already got a bunch of like TikTok videos. We got a bunch of videos that are just weird and strange. And this is the stuff that's public. And they're saying the stuff that's not public is going to be shocking. What the hell is that?
These people, how many of them have had personal experiences that they either can or cannot talk about? Or how many of them, has anyone had some sort of personal experience with either a craft or seen something?
Yeah. So
that they couldn't talk about?
There were some scenarios that they couldn't talk about, and then there were some scenarios they could talk about. But yes, Jay Stratton, for example, who ran the U.S. government's UAP task force. He was the director of the UAP task force. He co-founded OSAP with Jim Lukatsky, which grew into ATIP. He has seen with his own eyes non-human craft and non-human beings.
Now, listen, I had people too within the government be like, oh, yeah, I've seen it. I'm like, what? What? They wanted me to have dinner with them. What? And I'm like, this is crazy.
Some situations that he can't talk about, some situations that he can. And I know he intends to talk about those in the very near future.
Yeah, I've talked to him. So is that the only one that saw a non-human being that you talked to?
No. Talked to a couple people who have.
And were they similar stories?
They were similar stories. They described the beings looking. The reference point they gave me was very similar to the beings depicted in Close Encounters. That is the description they used.
Yeah.
The in terms of the crafts, one of the interviews in the film that I'm really proud of, an Air Force security guard who worked at Vandenberg Air Force Base, who's never gone public.
Now, how do they look in Close Encounters? Some people are saying they're time-traveling Asians from the future. Who in the world knows? But, like, man, I mean, I was going to make some remarks about, I'm not going to do it because they're probably out there. As, of course, there's a big connection between UFOs and American nuclear weapons and allegedly also Russian nuclear weapons. There's a lot of folklore. There's a lot of stories here, as the Daily Mail writes. Do they come in peace? The question has hung over the UFO mystery forever, but a new study comes closer to an answer than ever before. Since the United States detonated its first atomic bomb at the Trinity test site in 1945, that's when all the aliens started coming out. Some people are saying, no, they're just saucers, very similar saucers to what the Germans were working on in the 1930s and the 1940s that they were pictured working on. But it is pretty clear that this type of phenomenon has started after the use of nuclear weapons. Dozens of accounts of UFOs have been logged by military witnesses and government scientists working with America's sensitive nuclear arsenal. Skeptics have often turned to question the veracity of the memories of these military witnesses or blaming faulty equipment. Listen, coincidences do happen. People sometimes go schizophrenic and crazy, but I think them saying the same thing over the last few years is kind of crazy. But the connection between UFOs and nuclear sites has persisted in India, Russia, and elsewhere across the globe. Louisiana, the governor of Louisiana came out as soon as Trump got elected. He was like, yo, they're flying over our nuclear reactors, leading many to wonder, are aliens stopping us from exterminating ourselves? If that's true, are they going to be stopping AI? Now, a new decades-long study has analyzed over 500 of our best-supported UFO cases from the height of the Cold War and hauntingly concluded this intelligence understands atomics and they understand atomic weaponry. If that's the case, then the U.S. government saying, okay, we're going to send out the nukes to spy on the aliens makes sense, right? That's the kind of logical conclusion that a lot of people would make here. UFO reports over America's nuclear arsenal appeared to shift from sites where the bombs were made to missile silos and U.S. air bases as the Cold War arms race grew. That's one of the key findings from the new study, a series of 3 studies led by a retired U.S. Air Force Staff Sergeant, Larry Hunnock, and a data analyst affiliate with Harvard's UFOs hunting Galileo project, Ian Peretti, along with their research team. The group focused their analysis on official military and police reports of UFOs from 1945 to 1975, avoiding poorly supported accounts and ambiguous newspaper stories to focus on cases with multiple witnesses and signal evidence like radar. Their study, which only covered U.S. cases, also used reports of UFOs spotted above non-nuclear Army bases and nearby civilian centers to act as a control group to test against their findings of any UFO trends at America's sensitive nuclear installations. Their qualified but haunting conclusion, data from 3 decades-long periods, led credence to the idea that extraterrestrials or some other intelligence has methodically surveilled America's rise to a nuclear power. CBS News. Ex-Air Force personnel, UFOs deactivated nukes. This is from September 28, 2010. Weird. Whenever the mysterious lights in the skies were, they seemed to have an interest in our nukes. One of the most out-of-the-ordinary press conferences held in Washington this week consisted of former Air Force personnel testifying to the existence of UFOs and their ability to neutralize American and Russian nuclear weapons. Now, why would they do that? Is this why we never had a kind of exchange of nuclear fire? As of course, there was even like incidences where there was like faulty equipment. The Russians were like in a sub. They're told through the signals, nuke, send the nuke, send the nuke, send the nuke, which would have been tragic because America would have responded. Right? There was no response to it. There's just a faulty alarm. There's one Russian guy, famous guy, who saved the world from being blown up. But was he saved, or was it aliens that stopped him from doing it? Some people are saying he did it. He decided not to send those nukes to get confirmation. And then he got confirmation, and it was a false signal. And then luckily the world was not blown up. Now, Popular Mechanics in 2023, 3 years ago, was talking about how the Pentagon was investigating UFOs turning off warheads. What kind of warheads? The ones specifically with nukes. Former U.S. Air Force personnel reportedly told the Pentagon about their encounters with UFOs back in the 1960s. That's the height of the Cold War. The officer says the 1960s era, as UFOs supposedly turned off nuclear warheads, the Pentagon had an official office of investigating UFO sites. The Jerusalem Post. Did aliens prevent nuclear war? Former NASA astronaut claims they did. Former NASA astronaut Edgar Mitchell gained notoriety with the dissemination of various conspiracy theories since his return to the moon in 1971. I think that's a kind of big one here, as a lot of people are saying they're aliens, they're out of this world. Other people are saying no, they're in the water. They're in the deeps of the water that we still haven't explored. Some people are saying they're interdimensional beings that are existing on a different frequency. We recently had Anna Paulina Luna come out and says that she has seen evidence in the skiff, the private type of briefing that she gets, that leads her to believe that these things that we cannot explain have observed things that are non-human origin of creation, according to, quote, her personal opinion. Now, David Icke, who has been talking about interdimensional beings for a very long time, give credits due. Let's just be real with ourselves. This guy has been talking about this before it was cool. And everyone's like, you're crazy. You think the Queen's a lizard? What? And it's like, you look at the royal family. And I can see it. I was always like, kind of makes sense. Like all their horrible, like lizard-like behavior, cold-blooded behavior. I'm being facetious here, obviously. But he just said this, responding to the clip we played yesterday. I have been laughed at and ridiculed for over 30 years for saying that human society is controlled via the global cult of secret societies by other dimensional entities that can manifest in our reality. None of this, therefore, is the least bit surprising to me. But whatever they tell us this year, note the calculated synchronicity with the Spielberg film Disclosure Day, David Icke has been calling that predictive programming, quote, it will be to benefit the cult, not humanity. Time to be very discerning. And yeah, even the people who were on this for a long time were like, I don't know. Now, Stephen Greer personally talked about how there was a secret war between advanced civilizations, and he says humans are the bad guys here. Now, if that's true, I mean, we did launch a missile at one of these like Tic Tac weird 4 ships. There was like 3 small Tic Tacs around a big Tic Tac flying around from this like craft. Who knows? Maybe it's all AI generated. I don't know. Who in the world knows now? And it's like, oh yeah, we shot a missile at it. I think it was a Hellfire missile. And then things just bounced off, kept going. Why are we doing that? If that's real, if that's not fake, it's not. Why the hell are we shooting missiles at it? Why are we like faking? Oh, we're gonna use these nukes to get aliens there. Why are we doing that? As Stephen Greer came out and says what Matt Gaetz said is correct. Matt Gaetz said there was a hybrid breeding program between aliens and humans with the goal of combining DNA. Now, if you have aliens that are imprisoned, aliens that are being shot at, aliens that are being baited in with the use of nuclear weapons, hold on there. Maybe that's why we're not getting alien disclosures or UFO disclosures, because it points out how these people are crazy at the U.S. government, at the U.S. military. It's like, hey, yeah, we're trying to start a war with this alien, like interdimensional demonic force. Stop it. We spent $1 trillion on defense. Now Trump wants to spend $1.5 trillion on defense. What the hell does he know? Why do we need to do that if they're acting a little reckless here, right? Because that's the big type of question here out of all of this. As recently, Dr. Stephen Greer, and many people have different opinions on him, came out and then talked about that, of course, he does not want to self-harm himself in any way, shape, or form. Now, again, the Pentagon has a lot of mysterious programs, has a lot of advanced tech, is this, that. What do you think is really going on here? As, of course, a lot of people are talking about reverse engineering alien craft. Could be some new tech that the Germans had all the way back in the 1930s. What do you think is the logical conclusion here? Interdimensional beings, underwater creatures, out of this world creatures, government psyops. Which one do you think is the most credible? Let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for getting the Sunforce bundle. Really great stuff. Can't recommend it enough. Check it out. WeAreChange.shop. I want to be here if it wasn't for you guys watching, sharing this video, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more, all here exclusively on youtube.com/WeAreChange.